If you voted for, supported, donated to, volunteered for, canvassed for, anything you did, if you support Bernie Sanders' campaign, nothing has changed for the reasons that you supported Bernie Sanders' campaign.
Last night, obviously, was not a good night for our campaign from a delegate point of view. We lost in the largest state up for grabs yesterday, the state of Michigan. We lost in Mississippi, Missouri, and Idaho. On the other hand, we won in North Dakota, and we lead the vote count in the state of Washington, the second largest state, contested yesterday with 67% of the votes having been counted. We are a few thousand votes on top. We are winning the generational debate. While Joe Biden continues to do very well with older Americans, especially those people over 65, our campaign continues to win the vast majority of the votes of younger people. And I am talking about people not just in their 20s, but in their 30s and their 40s. The younger generations of this country continue in very strong numbers to support our campaign. Today, I say to the Democratic establishment, in order to win in the future, you need to win the voters who represent the future of our country, and you must speak to the issues of concern to them.
So look, yes, it's going to be a tough road going ahead, but I believe that based on the fact that we are still without health care, we're still without the student debt is still hanging over the heads. I believe that the fact that the water in Flint's still dirty, the water in a lot of places around this country is still basically undrinkable. Okay, the fact that we still incarcerate more people than other countries that are twice and three times our size. Like all of these problems, all of these issues, the endless war, the continuous wars, the forever wars for treasure and power, all of these things, they haven't changed at all. So I want to know from you, well, I guess that's for a comment section. But I'd like for you to put in the comment section. As for me, you know what I'm doing. I'm going to keep going ahead because I believe that the issues that we are fighting for are still yet to be addressed and that they still exist. So we must fight to combat Joe Biden and the establishment that is finally keeping things the way they are. So that's the reason why we, not this fake Elizabeth Warren, that's why I got in a fight. No, you didn't get in a fight. You got in a fight for you. Because if you got in a fight for the people, that fight would still be going on. And you wouldn't be like, okay, I'm afraid Bernie's going to lose, so I can't support him because I don't want to lose with him. That's not a friend. That's not how this should work. And that, at least if you're that way, don't be surprised when people don't support you. We admire those who, when the chips are down, go in it with us because we are fighting the same fight. And these people that haven't done that, well, they are who they are. So what does this mean for the Bernie Sanders campaign going forward? What does this mean? This means Bernie Sanders said he's going to keep going. Bernie Sanders is looking forward to the debate going up, hopefully that debate will happen. Hopefully that occurs. I understand there have been some rule changes to accommodate Biden, I guess. Big surprise there. They changed rules to accommodate Michael Bloomberg. They changed rules to kick out people from the debate stage that they don't want to participate. Now they changed rules in the debates to protect Biden. And this is all, they changed the rules to benefit themselves. And then they say, why don't Bernie Sanders supporters support us? You keep changing rules to hurt us. You change rules to rig your election in the favor of the outcome you want, instead of truly letting the people decide. And then you have the temerity to say, hey, why don't you love us? Why don't you get behind us? That doesn't make sense at all. So the Bernie Sanders campaign continues. He made a statement today. He commented on it. He admitted the delegate math does not look good. But he said, hey, the issues that we've addressed are still yet to be addressed. The issues the reasons why people support us still exist. The divide in the country, the divide amongst the left-leaning voter from a generational standpoint still exists. So that's a reason to keep going. And then we have a debate upcoming, if they don't cancel it, to protect Biden. I said if they don't cancel it, to protect Biden. Because we all know if Biden did get the nomination, he'd never have to debate Trump. We know that would never happen, right? That would never happen. He would never have to actually go on a stage and debate. So keeping him from debating Bernie makes a lot of sense because we would like a weak candidate to go before Trump because Trump is so scary and so hard, so bad for the country, it makes sense to not have Biden debate Bernie because we'd rather just find out how bad Biden is when he goes in with Trump. I'm being sarcastic. It makes no sense. But this is their logic, Johnson. We go forward. We go forward. We lift our heads up. We know why we got into this, and we know those reasons still exist. We push. Now, I'm not going to be like Hillary Clinton and make a horrible, sadistic suggestion like something bad could happen to a rival. You know, Hillary did that. That's what Hillary did in 2016. Oh, God. Well, 2008, I'm sorry, 2008. 2008, Hillary's like, oh, God, I don't know what we're doing here. Oh, God, we're making such a big mistake, you know. And I got to stay in it because, God forbid, we know what happened to John and Robert. And we would hate that to happen to Obama. So, you know, we got to stay in. Now, I'm not going to make that type of statement because that's horrific. It's lack of any moral character, any decency. And people might actually hold me accountable for it. Her, it's fine. She go on The View. She go on this show, that show. They kiss her ass, you know, when she says, you know, people could be killed. So anyway, but make no mistake about it, something bad could happen, like Joe Biden could go on a talking spree. He could start talking. Yeah, nothing. I'm not suggesting something horrible happens to Joe Biden, but there's a possibility between now and, you know, the convention that Joe Biden could talk. And that his firewall, his black firewall of people, listen. And for the first time they go, wow, I didn't know he didn't make any damn sense. Wow, I didn't know he couldn't talk well. Wow, I didn't know he loses track of thought. I don't know if I feel safe with a guy who can't keep up with what he's thinking. So that's a reason to stay in it, because that's possible. And then where would we be? Then where would we be? Because it's possible that could happen. So guys, where we are right now, well, we know Bernie Sanders, his campaign continues. I continue on with that campaign. I hope that you also continue on with it, knowing that we are still in this fight. We're still involved. We're still in it. So since we're in it, and since our issues haven't been addressed, and since the water still ain't clean, since the student debt is still there, since we're still locking up people like hotcakes, since we still got the wars happening, since we still have the horrible income inequality, since we still have the housing crisis, since we have all of these issues that you got involved with this campaign to remedy, since they still exist, if there's any, and I mean any opportunity, any chance that we could win this thing, I think we have a moral obligation to stay in it, because I'm not in this for ego. I'm not in this for buddies. I'm not in this to get a job on some network. I'm in this because I believe in the policies that need to be changed. But I want you to know, I got a new video coming because it's something that kept me up all night. And I'll tell you all night, I mean literally go to bed, finally fall asleep about 5:30 a.m. this morning. Because I was thinking, as I look back at these numbers, guys, as I look back at the South, as I look back at black voters specifically, I say, you know what? My people are being misinformed. What can I do about that? Now, first of all, it's arrogant of me to think that I can do anything about it. I'm just one person with a little reach on social media. But I believe, guys, that if we're going to have any success, when I was talking about we need to make that outreach to black voters, when I was hammering that, and people were like, be quiet, Tim, it's going to hurt Bernie. Now you see, because if the Democrats have learned that the Democrats can't win, and that means not just the Democrats, but anybody running on the left opposite the GOP cannot win without black support. Now, it's wrong-headed because there's some people out there who are withholding black support of Bernie in lieu of Biden as if Biden is doing something special. He's not. He hasn't done anything special. In fact, he's been the opposite of doing things that help the black community. But I believe, guys, what has to happen going forward is I definitely, and this is my goal, to strengthen what I'm doing, to further what I'm doing, to be able to penetrate and influence black folks by an entity that's not controlled by corporate Democrats. And that's your problem. We got people that are employed, heavily influenced by the Democratic Party, where the Democratic Party and those people who provide money to the Democratic Party have their tentacles in their lives. So they are going to come out and they're going to push for the Democratic candidate, whoever that person is. They've been given the word to push. And the only chance we have, I believe, in the future is to have more black entities that are trusted by the black community of the black community, that are able to talk to the black community and to be able to cut into this disinformation, because only a misinformed people, a group of people, would think that Biden is better for black folks than Bernie Sanders. So we know there's a disconnection. No one goes, ooh, we want less. There's a disconnection. So I'm going to be following up on this. That's one of the things we need to do going forward. We must, guys. I can't stress this enough. We must make sure people are informed. I don't think they are, Johnson. And if they are informed, they don't trust. They don't believe. And they're trusting people who have a different agenda. An agenda to keep their lives normal, an agenda to keep their gravy train running, an agenda to keep their stability or whatever, to can fund their corporation or fund their organizations, to fund their own initiatives. And being a part of the Democratic establishment, that operation keeps that going. So that's the reality for them. And only outside entities who are able to build trust with those communities will be able to penetrate and mitigate that information, that push towards Democratic establishment candidates who will not change the system. So that has to happen if you want to win. You ain't got to like me. You can say, I forget Tim Black, I'm a Tosi supporter or a Yang supporter. None of that matters if you don't take my advice. I tried to give it. People ignored it. Here we are. But I'm not pointing fingers. What I'm saying going forward, this is what needs to happen. As for me, as for you, I hope we realize that we have to maintain, we have to continue through, because, well, the campaign's continuing. And if this is just me, guys, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm only suggesting what I'm doing, and I'm telling you why I'm doing it. I know there's a lot of people who have put in a lot of sweat and toil, and they're fighting like hell, and they've donated like hell, and they volunteered like hell for the Bernie Sanders campaign. If there's any shot at all that this campaign can be successful, that this campaign can put forth and continue to push those concerns that I have, that you have, I'm down to do it. I believe we go out, if we go out, if we go down, if we end up, however this turns out, I ain't going easy. I'm not going without a fight. You ain't going to get me to just lay down my rifle. I'm not going to just lay down and roll over for you. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to cry in a puddle. I'm not going to do none of that. I'm going to fight every step of the way because I believe in these policies that I've been talking about. And I think to do anything else would be to admit maybe it wasn't about that. Maybe it was just about a personality. But for me, it wasn't. So that's what I'm going to do. The Bernie Sanders campaign is continuing. I'm going to continue with it. I will say one more thing, and this may get me in trouble with some people, but that's cool. I stay in trouble. I'm always in trouble. Bernie Sanders had this thing won. See, there are a lot of people, armchair quarter. Monday morning, armchair quarterbacking or whatever. There are people right now who are talking a lot of crap. And I understand, I'm angry too. I hate the system. I can't stand the system. Some of these people that are mad, I get it, you're mad. Some of you don't have kids. I have kids. Some of you don't have these issues, ailing parents, young kids, and no insurance. I have all three. All three of those things I have. I understand you don't. And I understand you're frustrated, okay? And some people have a mixture of things. I don't know what everyone's going through, but what infuriates the hell out of me are people going, Bernie's campaign was stupid all along and they didn't know what the hell they would do. Dude, we won. Do you know after Nevada what they had to do to stop us from continuing? Do you realize we won? So for all of the naysayers, for all of the people that complaining all year, I had to listen to the complaint all year, Bernie came out and effectively won Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada. A clean sweep of 3 contests in a row. I didn't hear congratulations. I didn't hear, damn, do it. I mean, the campaign set records. That has never been done before. But it also got the attention of the establishment. And the establishment had another plan to make members of that establishment fall on their swords for the greater good of that campaign, the greater good of the establishment. And Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg. And do you really think Beto O'Rourke wanted to endorse Biden? He got a phone call too. He knows it's a contradiction of everything that he talked about on the campaign trail. But he had to make a decision. They called his number, and he stepped up and fell on that sword to give Biden Texas. Or major support in Texas. He can't give nobody a state, but major support in Texas. You understand what I'm saying? So, this is what happened. This happened because we did the damn thing. Do you understand? So for all of them, and I'm not saying the campaign was perfect. I'm not saying it's not without flaws. Nothing's perfect. No, nobody's perfect. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. But, Jesus Christ, we won this shit. They had to bring in ringers, going behind, make phone calls to stop us. There's 2 races here. There was a race before the Democratic establishment regrouped and made a new game plan that caught Bernie Sanders off guard. There's 2 campaigns. The first campaign was when everybody was in this race, and they were all talking about, we trying to win, and everybody was out for self, including Michael Bloomberg. Remember that? It wasn't that long ago. And we were looking pretty good. We were the front runner. And people were not saying, go scorched earth, Bernie. Go scorched earth. Destroy, kill, rip them limb for limb. Why? Because we were doing it. We didn't need to. Right? Then there's the second campaign. That's the campaign that happened in the dark of night. It happened around South Carolina, when phone calls were made, favors promised, positions promised, or what have you. that put the Bernie Sanders campaign in a bad position. The Jim Clyburn, who Bernie had just worked with. Bernie just worked with Jim Clyburn. Jim Clyburn threw Bernie under the bus like he didn't know him. Cory Booker worked with Bernie on legislation just recently. Cory Booker threw Bernie under the bus like he didn't know him. He said he felt really bad about it. That his fiancée, Rosario Dawson, who we all love, still supports Bernie, and he respects that. And Bernie's his friend, but I got to go with Biden, who he even questioned his stability and his fitness to go forward and defeat Donald Trump. Kamala Harris called Biden basically a racist. She came out for him. None of you saw this coming. So for all of the people that are taking big dumps on the Bernie Sanders campaign, I want to defend them for a second and say, why didn't you call this? I guess you can see into the future and see the unknown and the unthinkable, that all of a sudden a race of 10 people becomes a race of 2 people overnight. Before you can do anything to stop it, before you can mitigate it. And then the rock went down the hill. The boulder was pushed down the hill, and people that's not paying attention to politics, they look over and they see everybody line up behind Biden overnight. And they go, Biden must be the one that could beat Trump. Look, people quit their campaigns. Even Pete Buttigieg, that guy, the guy from South, even he lined up. And he was doing well. He wasn't broke. Pete Buttigieg's money he raised a lot of money. Amy Klobuchar did better than she ever did. She came in 3rd, and she quits before her home state, which she was supposed to win. And she still quits. So, look, guys, I understand criticism. I get it. You think your person could have done a better job. Your person was in it and they didn't do a better job. They were there, they didn't do a better job. Your person was in the race, didn't do a better job. I'm sorry they didn't do a better job. They didn't do a better job. Don't tell me about how bad this person did or how bad the Sanders campaign did if your campaign did worse. And where were you with your enlightened idea of what the establishment was going to pull? I didn't see it coming. Maybe something like, I don't know, dumb black guy here. I didn't see it coming where everybody was throwing behind Biden, who was doing horrible, who just got his ass kicked in Nevada. I didn't see it. I didn't think it was possible that they would do that they would suddenly at midnight decide to do that. And I'd wake up the next day and everybody had lined up behind Biden. I'm sorry, I didn't see that coming. Unlike you, I guess I'm missing something. My bad. Please tell me more about what we should do before it happens. Mr. and Mrs. Clairvoyant. So, folks, we did not lose. It was stolen from us. That's my point. It was taken by the establishment making gangster moves. Like in, what's the movie? Braveheart. When Mel Gibson thinks he has a friend and his friend sets him up, that look on Mel's face is like, that's that look because you don't expect it. Now, I'm not saying that these were friends. And yes, I agree. Stop calling these bastards friends. These people are. They have jobs, Johnson. I agree Bernie needs to stop calling them friends, okay? Please, Bernie, don't call them friends no more, okay? But, guys, all my Johnsons, come on, guys. Johnson, we won this shit, okay? All right? It was won. That's why they had to do that. They can see, hey, Bernie's going to win. They say, that can't happen. You drop out. Hey, you, dummy, wake up. Get off the desk. Climb down off the desk. Stop moving your arms. Go endorse them. You, hey, Goofy, hey, baldhead. Hey, you in New Jersey, get in here and get your job done or you'll be out. You too. Hey, you, who just got mopped, who would have got destroyed in your own state of California, get out there and do your best. Get out there and endorse them right now. Everybody, let's do it right now. Everybody at one time. Even in Andrew Yang's statement, he said the Biden campaign leaned on him a week earlier to endorse him. He held out as long as he could. So this is where we are. They wanted it more carnage. They wanted Yang to fall in with Biden Super Tuesday. So what I'm telling you is they did everything to stop us because we won. We had won. Never, ever before in the history of American politics has a candidate won those three states in a row. And not went on to be the nominee. No, 2. Never before has a candidate won 2 and not become the nominee. Okay? So, I still believe there's hope because we're still alive. I still believe there's hope because there's still a ways to go. And I still believe there's hope. I still have hope because we're talking about Joe Biden. Joe Biden can, for all we know, Joe Biden can, I don't know, he could say the N-word on the debate stage. I don't know. He could call women, whores or something. Who knows what he could do? He could do something. Of course, the media will go, oh, well, he just does that sometimes. He meant it in the nicest ways possible when he called all the blacks niggers. It's just what he does. He's just, he didn't mean it in a bad way. It's like, my nigga. Did he use the hard R? He didn't use a hard R. No, he loves blacks. He loves the blacks. He's just saying it because he was listening to the Baby before the show, and J. Cole came on, right, Ari? And, he just was singing a song in his head. Some Snoop was playing in his head, that's all. But that can happen because we're talking about Joe Biden. He is a gaffe machine. He's an automatic weapon loaded with gaffes. So it's possible. So for those reasons, guys, for those reasons and many more, I'm still in this. But I don't want to see heads down and people all solemn and people writing me like they need a wellness check. People literally writing me like they need a wellness check right now. Oh, everything's lost. Look, a lot's changed, but a lot hasn't changed. We still don't have health care. We still don't have, the student debt is still high. We still are not taking care of our veterans. We still have people losing their homes. We still, all this is still going on. If you stop today, that's still going on. So if we got any shot at all at changing any of this garbage, we need to stay on our game. We need to stay in it. I don't feel like we have an option. I feel like I don't have an option, Johnson, because the problem still exists. The zombies are coming through the door, and you still got a couple rounds. What you going to do? Eat a bullet? Nah, I think we should fight them. That's what I want to do, Johnson. So I hope that you're with me in this endeavor, that you feel it, that you know what I'm saying, and that you can cut from the same type of cloth that I'm cut from, which is we don't give up. It's not about pointing fingers. It's not about saying what you would do in a situation that you are not in, nor have you ever been in. It's not just about that. Hindsight is always 20/20. Yes, I feel like we should. There are things I feel. There's things I've been saying for months that I wish permeated, penetrated, and really mattered to people. And maybe they did, but this is what we need going forward, man. We're going to need a black media that's not brought and paid for by people that want to work at MSNBC and CNN who are kissing ass to be a part of that world. We need that type of media, the type of media I've created here, that I spent years creating. We need that type of media to be able to speak to those people that believes that when I speak, I got their best interest, that I'm not a cutout, that I'm not a fake, that I'm not a fraud, that I'm not brought and paid for, that I actually know their pain, that I actually can relate to them, that I can go and roll with people with degrees or without degrees, people from the hood or people not from the hood, and be able to keep that conversation and be authentic and tell them what's up. But we don't have that right now. So we got people who get their information from people whose mission and goal is not to inform them in the same way in which we need them to be informed, which is realistically about the track record of Joe Biden. So when we say, why? How much longer are we going to say, why don't black people? Why? I'm telling you why. What do you want to do about it? What are you willing to do? I know what I'm trying to do about it. What are we going to do about it? If we don't change it, we will never change this country, and we don't change this fact. That's what I believe. But as for Bernie Sanders' campaign today, right now, he's still in it. I'm still in it. Nina Turner's still in it. I'm still in it. If I can watch her do 4 rallies in 24 hours with her voice sounding raspy and beat up and tired, from going from campaign stop to campaign stop, nothing but energy and fire and motivation and passion for the people, well, I can stand behind her. If Dr. Cornel West can get up there and preach a sermon that would raise up and change and modify and inspire the most dead-headed, stubborn person to rise to their feet and feel rejuvenated and want to be a part of this movement, then I can keep going. If Michael Moore can give a heartfelt breakdown and dismantling of Elizabeth Warren on his podcast, thus putting him in the crosshairs of the establishment, because you know they didn't like that Michael Moore podcast. They hated that podcast. They want him bad now. Well, if he can do that, I can do my thing. I can keep doing what I'm doing, and I can continue to fight. If John Cusack can put his future on the line and go out on the line for Bernie Sanders, well, I can. I'm not risking as much as John Cusack or Ben Cohen and Ben and Jerry. I'm not risking as much as them. So I'm here, and I hope that you're here with me. And we still have a ways to go. And in the words, like in the spirit of Ed Schultz, man, when they say Biden's a good man, he's a decent man, you ain't a decent man if you don't want for me what you have for yourself. You got top flight health insurance. Why don't you want that for me? You ain't a good man if you want my children to go to jail. If you have no problem with packing the jails with my children and my cousins and my nephews and my neighbors. If you got no problem doing that, you ain't my friend. You're not my friend if you will saddle my children with student debt for the rest of their lives, trying to fit into a middle class that instead and give them gig jobs with no benefits and say that's good enough and change the labor laws under your president, Barack Obama, that makes it so you can have a Lyft and a freaking Uber become a real job when they're offering people benefits. They changed the labor code to make that stuff work. But you're not my friend if that's your solution for these people, for young people, for seniors. You're not my friend. You're not my friend if you would fight to cut Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and other set-asides and veteran support, just so you can give tax breaks to rich bastards and corporations. That's not a friend. That's not a decent man. That's not a good man. A good man doesn't want to cut policies or initiatives to help our most vulnerable people. That's not what good people do. That's not what decent people do. So, I'm going to fight on. I made the case for why I'm doing it to myself. I believe in this. I know it makes sense to me. You got to make that decision for yourself. Hopefully you will feel the same way, that if there's any air left in your body, if there's any hope at all, we're going to proceed. And that's what happened, and that's what's going on, and that's where we stand with the Bernie Sanders campaign. Ain't shit changed. Let's keep going. It was hard when we started. We knew the job was dangerous when we took it. We knew it was an uphill battle when we started it. We knew they were going to fight and do everything they could to stop us when we started doing this. Like, none of us are delusional enough to believe they was going to lay down for us and just let us run. Let us run fair and square. Like, we're going to have a fair and square race. Like, they wouldn't do whatever they could do to stop us. But I did not predict. I wish I could have predicted it. I wish, man. Maybe Bernie would have ran a different campaign if he'd have known. Instead of beating a 5-person race or coming in respectable in the 5-person race in 48 states, he needs to come in 1 or 2 in every race. Maybe maybe that's a different game plan, right? So it is what it is. I love you guys. I'm Real Tim Black on Facebook and Twitter. The fight continues. This video, I'm going to put this video out. Some people need to hear it. They need to know what's going on. They need to know that they're not alone. Though they're upset, disappointed, frustrated, we're still resilient. We're tough. We're tough. Johnson, we are tough. We are warriors, and we came here for revolution. And we ain't come here to give up, to make them happy. No. So let's keep going.